What is going on, guys? It's your boy Jay Sparta with the very first YouTube video. Today we're going to be reacting to Jubilee's female feminist pro versus anti video. I seen a few clips of this thing going around. There's a lesbian chick in this that seems like a very, very spicy meatball. So I'm very interested to get into this one. I think it's going to be great. So let's get cracking. We'll jump right in and see what Jubilee has in store for us.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. If you're a woman, you should be a feminist.
So we got the feminists on the left, anti on the right.
I think the concept of anti-feminism is like counterintuitive as a woman. Like everyone should want equality of sexes, you know? Everyone should want to have the same education level, the same all these things in a position and still make as much as a person who identifies as male.
In this society, we have to.
I like how she made sure to, clarify or, be distinct about identifies as male. You can tell it's going to be crazy already. Look at this one with the green hair. Oh.
To be feminists as women, because there's certain things going on where our rights are being stripped away, and black women, black trans women are more likely to be murdered and attacked, and that's absolutely a feminist issue, and that's something that everyone should care about.
Everyone of any gender expression, men included, should be feminists.
I think there are different brands of feminism, if you will, that don't represent what I think all of us here feel is the true ideal of what feminism
Absolutely.
is.
And I don't think that everyone has to be active as a feminist in the exact same way. Like, not everybody can march, not everybody can protest, not everybody can really be an advocate for feminism.
At the end of the day, it's
protesting for?
taking a look at patriarchal systems and seeing the flaws in those systems and how they negatively impact everyone.
I pause on that thought. Can the disagreeers step forward?
Here we go. Bring them in. Let's go.
Define woman.
This is the
Go,
This is the
please. One of you.
A person who their internal idea of what they are is a woman.
Terrible definition. Coming from a lesbian, that destroys the very concept of our sexual orientation. Just saying that it's an idea.
Why?
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 Because you can't be connected and sexually attracted to somebody's brain.
That's the clip that I saw right there. That is what sold me on coming to watch this video, and I feel like it's going to be so spicy that I have to record my reaction and share it with the world. So let's get out there. I'm excited to share my thoughts on this one too.
Let's make sure to keep it to the prompt. If you're a woman, you should be a feminist. Why do y'all disagree with that?
Okay.
I completely disagree. You know, exactly 2 years ago, if I had done this, I probably would be a feminist. But then I started to look at, and I think the agreeers actually mentioned this, like, what do black women gain from feminism? Because I remember even during Black Lives Matter, when I led 2 protests for black women, and I counted how many white women I saw there, and the ones who were there who were just there to take pictures for social media, and then the black men also hiding behind us. Everyone, the whole world hides behind black women. Enough.
Same thing that's happening. Look what's happening in Iran. People on the feminist side right now are not speaking up for those Iranian women. I have a friend that is a trans woman living in Iran right now. It's miserable. Nobody stands up for that poor girl.
As a woman, I particularly think I'm a humanist. For example, 2 years ago, I was a raging feminist, and I made a decision to pivot my platform, teach black women how to sit in our feminine energy, because we've never experienced that.
Well, that just sounds like black feminism to me, teaching women how to do that in the time that we are in now.
But we're not learning fast enough. We deserve to rest.
I still, personally, all the identity politics, like even the anti-feminist that's speaking right now is like all about, black, and the other one's like black feminism. And I mean, listen, everybody is oppressed in this world, okay? The problem is that we're all dividing and we're not joining together and agreeing that we as a people, all of us, are in the same boat, and the boat is sinking, okay? Sure, we may not agree on what the solutions to that are, and maybe we don't necessarily all let me rephrase it. We all know that there's a problem. We all know that there needs to be a change, but I think that it's the division that's caused us to have different ideals of what that future outcome is supposed to look like. But I think at the core, if you break it down and ask any person, they all want basically the same things, which is, life and liberty, right? Health, freedom, opportunity, right? And as long as we're all afforded those same things, and I believe that here in the West, we have been for a very long time. Unfortunately, our society is crumbling, and it makes it difficult for most people out there right now. I think that the majority of people that are in the world are facing some sort of financial crisis, and it's looking pretty bleak as far as interest rates and inflation, and yeah, it's tough. Everybody goes through struggles, but the problem is, again, that we're divided. We need to come together, and we need to be one people, one love, like Jamaica, Bob Marley said, right? And we got to stop talking about black politics, women politics, gay politics, Iranian politics, none of this stuff. It's all, we need to figure out our own shit first. And we need to start coming together as a people. And yeah, rant done.
We deserve to relax. We deserve to choose if we want to be a traditional wife. I went from law to being a CEO to now I just want to be a housewife. And every time I say that, I get so much hate. Like, women work so hard to get to this point. Why do you want to be a housewife? Because
that's what you
my
want.
Choice.
That's what you want. That's the whole point.
Feminism is all about choice.
Exactly. Why can't I choose? That's the whole point of feminism. It's like, why can't I choose? What are you missing in America to claim that you are oppressed as a woman?
Well, we just had our rights to our own uteruses stripped away.
Well, the
by,
right to murder your own baby, though. I mean,
it's not a baby, it's a clump of cells.
I mean, we all are clump of cells right here.
I think everybody's going to agree and disagree.
Yeah,
on
that's
that,
a whole.
but I don't know if that's another topic. That's another topic.
I had a very, very hard time not stepping up to that prompt because my whole life I did consider myself a feminist. Seeing how this modern wave of feminism has now turned into something very different.
That's right. The left has been changing language for a very long time. That's what they do. So what was thought of as feminism, which everybody sort of agreed with, it was sort of one of those things that, like, yeah, you want everybody to be equal. That's like a no-brainer. Of course everybody agrees with that. It's evolved into something different. And I think that's happening in a lot of different movements as well. Just like the LGBT Alphabet Plus, that movement started, I'm sure we'll get into that this lesbian girl, it seems like a little bit of an old school, and she'll probably get into these ladies about that soon enough.
Different than equal rights. We all want equal. Of course, we want equal rights. We want equality as women. Of course.
But how can you have equal rights when you can't define the word woman on the far left?
Alta had a Women's Day recently, and the Women's Day was celebrated by 2 trans women who still had their male parts. I mean, you're pushing women out of womanhood.
I'm sure we're going to have discussions about whether or not a trans woman is a woman, but I actually want to go back to how we feel that our ideal of feminism is probably not the way that you four think of feminism. I'm willing to bet.
I agree with that. I think that's why people like me stepped away from that. Not because we're not women empowered or believe in women empowerment.
It's because we are women empowered.
It's because we believe women empowerment means something different than what you guys believe in.
And what I've seen now,
Pause
too.
there.
Oh.
We're going to reset. Next prompt. There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
All right. If you were making a health decision between you and a medical professional that is the right decision for you, your body, your future, it is always the right decision.
I would never stand between anyone with a uterus from making a decision about their body.
No, yeah, they're like, you can do it. You can have this health. You can have this health care if you.
I'm having a little trouble understanding here why, so those girls over there think that there is a wrong reason to get an abortion. Yeah, okay. I agree with that. I agree with those girls standing over there. There is definitely a wrong reason to get an abortion. So I'm kind of shocked at the lesbian girls up here. I'm wondering if she just wanted to debate or... But yeah, I agree. There's no wrong reason to get an abortion. I don't agree with that.
Are a victim of incest or a victim of rape. It's like you should be able to have access to that. What if you want it? You know, it's about it's the same as going into the doctor and getting a routine check. If there's something for your body that you think will, you know, not just benefit you but help you live and also help you sustain an actual good life for your child, then that's what you need to do.
And
yeah,
financial is a huge thing too.
It is a huge thing.
It's an extremely huge financial responsibility to have a kid, and some people just don't have that means.
I agree and disagree. I'm definitely pro-choice. I'm probably the only anti-feminist that's pro-choice.
Being pro-choice, pro-abortion is actually very common. It's like 78% of Americans.
Okay, so yeah.
There's actually many people who are in your category.
To me, it makes sense in certain circumstances. I don't think people should be using abortion as a form of birth control. I think, to me, abortion's, believe it or not even the issue we need to be talking about right now. I feel like we need to be talking about how to properly educate people, no matter what their status is, no matter what their sexual orientation, whatever. And we need to go from there.
Well, I think I have a very interesting perspective on this because my mother opened the first Planned Parenthood in our state, and she is very pro-abortion outwardly. But inwardly in our home, we weren't allowed to do it. And so growing up at that dichotomy really, I think, messed me up a lot because I was like, okay, which one is the truth?
There are wrong
That is crazy. That is absolutely nuts. So her mother opened the first Planned Parenthood in their state, openly pushes abortions, yet wouldn't allow it within her own family for her own daughter. My God. Are you fucking kidding me? I guess, listen, it's not even, I can't be shocked. It sounds about right. The evils of this world, I swear to God. I wonder how much she gets paid to run that Planned Parenthood and shill the murder of babies while not condoning it at home. That is...
reasons to get an abortion. A wrong reason to get an abortion is if you are going through your pregnancy and all of a sudden you change your mind. If you are irresponsible and all of a sudden finding yourself scared of motherhood.
When people say that women are getting abortions because they just don't want to be pregnant anymore, they're not actually understanding the way that an abortion works. Most of the time,
this bitch needs to fucking hop back on her broom. I think her sister, she's just mad because her fucking sister got crushed by fucking Dorothy's house.
they're talking about late-term abortions. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you have that kind of abortion, you have to give birth to the fetus. There's no going back. You're literally giving birth to a body. It's never just a, whoop, I don't feel like being pregnant anymore. Guess these last 8 months I just wasted everything. No, no one's doing that.
Raising children is the most blessed gift. And I speak as someone who, when I found out that I was expecting for the first time, I kid you not, I was terrified.
But you were prepared.
No, I was not necessarily prepared. I was not prepared. And I was very much caught off guard. And I was terrified because I had an incredible career happening for me.
Finances.
On the upswing.
Finances.
I had, let me finish, I had such a dramatic, fearful reaction to becoming a mother because of what our society has been telling me for throughout my adolescence and my early 20s, is that once you become a mother, it's all over and it ends. And that is a very, very deeply rooted problem in our society that I do think we need to address.
That sentiment is the patriarchy in action, though.
What is the patriarchy?
What isn't the patriarchy? I feel like that's the better question.
That was an answer from someone who can't answer the fucking question. Let's see what fucking little Miss Marks over here has to say.
A systemic ideal that favors masculinity, men,
Male power, male dominance.
the traditional idea of what a man is.
The patriarchy.
See, these bitches got it all fucked up, right? Men built the world. I've heard this a million times, but I'm gonna say it again. Built everything around. The buildings, the infrastructure, they maintain it. Men built the fucking cars. Men built all of it. And you know what women did? They birthed every single one of those fucking men. All right? Let's not confuse our roles here. These people want to start talking about people with a womb, birth-giving peoples. You mean women? Mothers? Fucking, again, like I said earlier about changing the fucking language. Confusing kids with their fucking twisted language.
Patriarchy is a system that oppresses not just women, but everyone.
It's not patriarchy because the people who scared me so much were the women mom bloggers.
Just because it's coming from a woman.
Coming from women does not mean
But
that
these
it's
were
not
the
from
no.
patriarchy.
These were the women, and I speak with really strong conviction about this. The women who are publicly outward speaking to other women through blogs, through social media, talking about my life is so hard because of my kids. Oh, my kids are jerks. Oh, life is this. I have no money. Those messages are very, very pervasive, and they're very dangerous, and they're toxic
But
to
they're
women.
also real parts of motherhood. We just discussed how motherhood.
How many of you are mothers here?
I am not a mother, but
Okay, I am a mother of 12 years. And I know all of the very, very hard parts of motherhood. And I just wish, as someone who has actually, as the only person here who has gone through.
The only person in the room that is a mother, and good for her. Good for her. You know, these women are so caught up with themselves and taking down the patriarchy, and, you know, they'll never get to experience the joy of what they were truly brought onto this world to do.
Through this motherhood experience, I, from the bottom of my heart, wish that the positive aspects of motherhood supersede all of the hard stuff.
Let's get back on prompt again. There's no wrong reason to get an abortion. Isabella,
I want
to hear from Isabella.
There's been so many points I want to talk
I was going
about.
to talk about Candace, maybe. Candace, what she says about.
I don't even know what she said.
Oh,
Just let her talk.
sorry.
So my parents actually had me when they were 19, and thank God they didn't abort me. They were not ready. They were in a terrible situation, and having me at 19 made them grow up and mature and become adults and not continue being on a bad path.
My parents had me at 19. My dad just turned 20. My mom was turning 20. Neither of them were ready. I can't say that they straightened up, not until much later in my life. They did continue down a bad path, but I mean, I'm grateful that my mother didn't abort me. I'm here. I'm grateful for the air that's in my lungs, the blood that's in my veins, the things that I've done, the things I've accomplished, the people that I know, the relationships that I've had. All those things wouldn't have existed if she had chose to destroy me in her womb.
So I'm thankful for that. And a lot of, something that you said it's society's, I think it was about society's pushing this idea, like demonizing motherhood, and you said that's part of the patriarchy. Well, I would ask you this, don't you think men benefit from women getting abortions because they no longer have to deal with it? They can just sleep around, and if, God forbid, a woman gets pregnant, oh, she wants to abort it. Cool, now I'm off the hook.
What is the patriarchy?
I don't even know what that men oppress us and
That everything that goes wrong, that men are to blame. And I don't think that's a healthy way of being.
Very happy to live under this so-called patriarchy.
This word patriarchy, it does not make any sense to me. Women are not oppressed in America.
Patriarchal society doesn't bother me. Like Marilyn Monroe says, as long as I can be all of a woman in it, I am not bothered.
The feminist movement is inherently racist.
The feminist movement does not benefit POC in any shape or form. It especially does not benefit Black women. And the darker your skin is, the more you are used, I call us, Black women, as the bullets for the feminist movement.
If we're talking historically, if we're talking how feminist movements started, it was an exclusionary movement.
Absolutely.
If we go back to the suffragettes or even further, Black women were not allowed to join in that effort because they really weren't fighting for Black women.
Until we were used as bullets.
Right.
If we're not being used, we can't be part of the movement.
They did use Black women. They used Black women's efforts because most of the most achievements that feminism, you're right, like most of the achievements of feminism have been done by Black women, and white women have stepped in and taken the credit for like people who do identify as feminists, especially those of us who are white. I think the most important thing for us to do is to sit down, shut up, and listen to Black women.
As a Black woman who identifies as a feminist, my work centers Black women. So to say that, you know, of course, like white women were able to vote before Black women. Like the feminist movement was inherently racist, but how I live my life and the way that the community that I've built around myself of Black feminists.
I personally think that if you vote, you should be conscripted if it comes down to it. And that's not something any of these women would be willing to do. Well, maybe this one here on the right, she seems tough enough. She might do it, but I don't think any of these other women would do that. You know, and that's really why women weren't allowed to vote in the first place. Now, as far as the Black thing, that's a different story. You know, that has nothing to do with man or woman. So, you know, the fact that this girl is let's let the video play because they're stressing me out.
But why label it feminism?
Well, you can label it whatever you want, but
helping other Black women.
I affirm you, and I see that the
think that's
semantics makes you uncomfortable because feminism was racist, but
It is still racist,
but you're not racist. So if you are not racist and you have issues that you want to be working towards for Black women, that doesn't mean that you're inherently being racist or helping white women. I think feminism exists on a spectrum.
We're talking about semantics. We're talking about terms. They evolve and they change. Ideologies change.
Right.
And I think that feminism is evolving and changing. And I think it's because of the work of people like you. And so that's why I can confidently say.
It's evolving. It's not evolving. I think it's devolving. You know, I think third wave feminism, I mean by all accounts, I see, you know, again, have a very powerful Black mother, a very feminist Black mother. And I mean, no one wants to say they did life wrong, but she's saying, man, I wish I could have taken care of myself. I wish I could have done this. I love how you get your hair done and you go get makeup done and you're so, and she says it, you know, like she wasn't there in the household to raise us, like back to motherhood, because she was gone fighting every single day for women's rights to come home and be exhausted by the time she gets home. And we never got to have a mother.
Why does this girl in the pink always look like she's so emotional? Like she's like holding back the tears every time someone else is talking. And then we got a little frumpy face over here.
You know.
When I scroll my own social media feed, I rarely see a powerful woman highlighted who is not an ethnicity. It's true.
You're using them as pawns.
Yeah, using them as pawns.
Oh, 100%.
A lot of big brands are now hopping on this, you know, modern feminism bandwagon, which I don't agree with what modern feminism is.
Listen, it's sickening, but they're hopping on the bandwagon because they know it's going to make them money. That's what's selling. Like, I was living down in Orlando, and I was at Disney a couple times. I didn't go to actual Disney. I'm more of a Universal guy, but I went to downtown Disney. What do they call it? Doesn't matter. It's a bunch of stores and restaurants, and you know, it's like a private little Disney neighborhood, basically. So I went there a couple of times with my girl, and we were just like, you know, getting some food and bowling and that kind of stuff. And then Pride Month happened, And boy, was it forced down your throat. No matter where you went through that place, like Mickey turned gay, everything was rainbow. Every store had rainbow flags, like as if they needed to announce that you were welcome in there as well, like as if the whole neighborhood wasn't converted to a giant fucking rainbow. But yeah, like it's just, I get it. I understand why Disney would do that. Boost their profits. That's a month worth of boosted profits, whole new lines of products. Like, these people don't even understand how they're being used in such a way to bring in billions and billions of dollars for these corporations, and they don't give a fuck at the end of the day.
But a lot of brands now, and I'll just say, you know, a big brand that comes to mind is Dove. Diversity is always a good thing. However, for years, have not seen any kind of a...
I don't necessarily think diversity is always a good thing. I think there has to be a certain level to it. I think that... All right. Here's an example of why diversity is not a good thing. And I'm not even talking about race. I'm talking about nationality in this sense. There's a couple of places. There is Costa Rica's dealing with some issues in an area, a place called Nosara. And then Portugal is dealing with issues as well with digital nomads. So digital nomads are traveling around and, you know, working remotely and going and staying in these places. And they're finding these beautiful remote locations that are like low cost of living. And the problem that's happening is they're going and renting up all the homes, buying up the land, building homes on it. They're in Nosara specifically, they have a building ban on property. So like if you buy a property, you have to wait a certain amount of years before you can build anything on it. And the reason is they don't have enough water because the place is expanded far too quickly for the infrastructure in the area. In Portugal, the locals are all trying to, you know, have the laws change because there's in Portugal you can get digital nomad visas to be able to stay there for a couple of years at a time, and they're actually trying, there's backlash because of it, because these digital nomads are not respecting the place, and it's causing prices to go up because, you know, they're renting out places for premiums. And yeah, it could, you know, this is diversity by, if we were to just open the borders and allow anybody to go anywhere they want and, you know, just be free across the land. And, you know, basically the idea of the left, Marxists, what they want for us is, you know, that complete globalist, open border, one world government, one world currency. And that diversity that they push is going to cause issues. You know, there was one time I used to be in sales, and I had this customer, and he was a little bit old school. And the way that he made an analogy to me, and he said, listen, if you go into the grocery store, right? Produce is in the produce, the dairy's in the dairy, the bread's in the bread, the frozen goods are with the frozen goods, canned goods with the canned goods, right? There's a specific section for each of those things. If you were to walk into the grocery store and it was just a jumble, you went to the produce section and it was just cans stacked on top of frozen stuff, stacked on top of fruits and veg, bundled in with pasta, you'd be like, what the hell's going on here? This is chaos. And that was his analogy for the world. Like I said, he was a bit of an older gent. He's seen, you know, the evolution of the West, and it's a sad thing. Just like she said, it's not really an evolution, it's devolving. And Yeah, I'm scared for the future, man. Not gonna lie.
Ad campaign from the brand Dove speaking to women's empowerment that includes a woman that looks like us. What modern feminism today is lacking, I think, is genuine respect for diversity of opinion for all women.
If you felt modern day feminism didn't hijack all points of view of women, that you would still identify as a feminist?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, the entire time everyone was talking, all I was thinking was, wow, I'm so sick of all these labels and all these different intersections. And these days there's more intersections than genders. And I'm just like, all these identity politics groups, we're just pitting each other against each other. Race keeps getting brought up.
I can't stand this one in the pink. I just, her face, the expressions she makes, fucking.
I know it's brought up in the prompt for this one, but in every single other one, and I don't even think about this. I don't even think that I'm not being represented even in ads. I don't care. It just does, I don't,
Sure.
I am me.
I'm clearly
I'm sure you don't care.
You don't have to care.
Thank you for letting me know that. Feminists always know best for me. That's what I've noticed. It's a trend. But.
I mean, I'm just pointing out that you are a privileged white woman who has not had to.
You're a privileged white woman coming from the fucking Jew.
See the lack of diversity. When we step into a room filled with other white people, we don't notice that it's other white people. But when women of color have stepped into rooms and they see that it's just a bunch of other white people.
Also, intersectionality is not just about diversity, and it's certainly not a.
What about when you walk into a room and it's a bunch of black people or a bunch of Chinese people? What about when you walk into a restaurant and it's Jamaicans and everybody stops talking because they feel awkward because you just walked in, right? All of a sudden you bust out the pata and you say, "Oh, bad man, how I do ya?" You know, so I want one big jerk chicken and oxtail with a heap of gravy on the rice, they bad man. And then they say, oh, this boy knows our culture. But again, these girls would say, oh, cultural appropriation. Listen, we all go through this shit. You think I ever walked into a fucking Chinese restaurant? Or what about when my girl goes to get her nails done and all the Viets are sitting there? Oh, don't. Fucking you're sitting there feeling like they're talking about you, which they probably are. But who gives a shit? Grow up. Toughen up, little soldier. Stiffen up that upper lip.
About diversity in ad campaigns. It's about how poor women can't afford to drive to another state to get an abortion, but rich women can.
Shouldn't have to fucking get an abortion anyways, you fucking dumb bitch.
It costs more money to drive to get an abortion than it would take to raise that kid?
Well,
Just saying.
but that's the thing, right?
Right.
Like,
It
if you
just-
don't
that
have the
doesn't make
money
sense
to
to me.
drive to get an abortion, how are you going to have the money to raise that child? Why
Pause
should
there.
you be
Let's
forced
reset,
into motherhood?
reset. Feminists don't appreciate all that men do for society.
Big facts. Big facts.
I mean, I've got a lot to say about this. Feminists just demonize men. They hate men. All men are trash. They say they hate men while simultaneously trying to become men. They hate them for having power and the patriarchy, so they're trying to overtake it.
I just found my future wife right here. They hate men while trying to become men. Get 'em, baby, get 'em.
But a lot of women will talk about rape culture. But guess what? Guess who's going to protect you from bad people? A man. Women are nurturers. We need men.
It's as simple as that. It's a God-given right for men to exist the way they were assigned to exist. We need men. It's very simple. We need men to procreate. We need men to provide. We need men to produce. We need men to go to war and die. We need men. It's so bad now that they're so scared of us. They're terrified all the time. I go on.
Notice every one of those words that they need men for was a procreate, produce, provide, protect.
Dates with men. They're like, am I allowed to open the door? Can I not open the door? Can I touch it? Can I pull the chair out? What can I do? And they're shaking, they're sweating, and you're just like, be yourself. Just, it's okay. You like, they're so afraid of doing anything wrong. So much so they're now the most lonely demographic in the world, right? Like, they straight white men, I heard, are now the most lonely because they just creating incels, you know.
It's not that they created incels. No. I mean, I think that a lot of men have just realized that the headache and financial burden and the constant dodging of landmines and the constant feeling of, emasculation from the modern woman just isn't worth it. And guys have decided to focus on themselves. Like, that's why they went after Tate. Tate didn't do nothing wrong other than tell men to be men and better themselves and stop worrying about chasing pussy and go get that fucking money and get yourself fucking get in shape. Get that money, get in shape. Fuck chasing bitches. The bitches will come. And to respect yourself and to not go after these modern women that don't respect men. Simple as that. That's the message. And that's why they took that motherfucker down. Because the message goes against those billions of dollars that they're making off of these people.
They don't want to leave their apartment or their house because they're so afraid of women.
I'm not on board with this trend, especially happening in schools right now. There is a trend where they are raising up the girls. Girl power, girl boss, girl this, run like a girl in the best way
You're
possible.
gonna make me vomit.
That's now it's dangerous. It is dangerous because yes, we want to uplift our women. That's the right thing to do so that men and women do maintain equality. But at the same time, by raising the girls, we are forgetting about our boys.
Yeah, they want to solve inequality by enforcing more inequality. And if women were equal to men, then why do the girls need to be raised up so much? Why? The only men that feminists like are men dressing as women and dominating their sports and just really reversing what the other waves of feminism fought to do. Have fun with men beating you in your sports, women, because guess what? You're not going to beat them. Have fun. I never even felt unequal. So I don't even know what the problem is. I feel like a lot of people just want to have a reason to be upset and outraged. I also just don't identify with all these identity politics groups. I think they're being pit against each other, separating all these different people by race.
She said she's never felt unequal, and that's because she understands that we have different strengths and weaknesses as men and women. She understands the gender roles, and she fits her gender role, and she is attracted to men who fit their gender role. And that in itself is what human nature is. She is soft and wants to be protected and provided for, and a man is hard and does the protection and the providing. This is how humans work, and this is how other species, mammals and other species, and it's so crazy to me that these girls don't get it. She does, because really to say, oh, we're equal as men and women would be a lie. We are not equal because we're very different in very, very many ways. But in saying that, not being equal doesn't mean we can't have the same access to things or opportunities or, and women have all these opportunities. Women complain about the pay gap. They have the opportunity to go do these jobs. I don't see any girls down there lugging hundreds of pounds of steel on their shoulder, getting dirty in the pit while the concrete truck's pumping and they're racing the clock. And this stuff doesn't exist. Why? Would it happen to be because of our physiological differences? The fact that men are bigger and stronger on average than women? I mean, let's fucking reality check some of these people need.
Class, gender, everything, sexual orientation, and I look at people as individuals.
All right, on that note, let's have the disagreeers step forward.
There's a difference between not appreciating men and pointing out the inequities that have been systemically put in place to favor men, especially white men, white straight men.
White straight men. You're my enemy. You You green-haired, I already knew as soon as I seen your green hair and whatever you wear, you like, even the concept of being like a gray man doesn't exist to these fucking people. They wear it on their fucking, everything about them screams, I'm your fucking enemy, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't have to guess. I look at you and I know you're a fucking scumbag.
There's a difference between hating men and pointing out that there are inequities.
I want to talk about this concept of protection. We're talking about good men who are protectors. Who are they protecting us from?
The bad men.
Bad men, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Or bad
so-
women, bad anybody.
I could
be
drive a
anybody.
car and
It was a rhetorical, I guess.
No,
in some ways
I
a
understand the point you were trying to
rhetorical
make. That's
question,
why I
right?
said what
But
you
I'm
wanted
going
me
to
to say.
finish. So then who benefits from men's bad behavior? Good men as well, right? They get to be positioned as the good guys.
Good apples.
They're the good apples.
Oh my God. And this is why we're seeing this recent wave of men not helping women in situations, okay? This and a combination of the fucking rape culture bullshit, sexual assault bullshit, that whole thing, and the fact that women are now, oh, you're just doing it to be labeled as good guy. This shit is fucking insane. Oh my Lord.
And that is predicated on the bad behavior of men.
No, they benefit from being a good person and protecting women. Who cares? We should not be praising people based off comparing them to bad people.
But I don't benefit from being a good girl. I don't
You're a good feminist, right? I'm sure people love.
You do benefit from being a good girl. I bet you if you were a good girl, you'd have a good man that'd take care of you, you stupid fucking bitch. I bet you because you're too worried about your goddamn career and fighting for fucking equality, you probably don't even have a man in your life.
Of what you have to say as a feminist.
Bitch is gonna fucking age out her womb before fucking she finds fucking any sense in her fucking head. Fucking try and dress like she's fucking smart. She looks like, oh man,
Other feminists agree with it and are like, yes, go girl
There
boss.
are
They
good
do.
people on earth and bad people on earth. We're always going to have that. That would never change. It's in every animal kingdom. So we need the good man to protect us from the bad man.
To go off of what you said, because you said when women are sexually assaulted, they turn to another man to protect them. I work as a sexual assault and domestic violence counselor. I work with rape victims every single day. They don't turn to men to protect them. They don't.
I didn't say they turn to them. I was saying they potentially can, if you're walking home alone at night and
I
you're
don't
afraid.
turn to another man. I don't. I turn to other women.
Yeah, I appreciate men that, like, I love a man that knows his place. Build the house. Yeah, repair that. Because I'm a goddess. Like, if you.
whoa, all right. So for her relationship, there has to be the gender roles, and he needs to know his place and build the house. What the fuck are you gonna do? Look pretty and suck dick?
You need to hold your weight in the relationship. Like, I appreciate men. I love
You need to hold the weight of these fucking nuts, you dumb fucking bitch.
men. Like, just like you said, you have a husband, you want to cook for your husband, you make sure that he's good. Men have roles in society as well. Feminist is anything you want it to be. As a woman, I am promiscuous because I'm a feminist, but you can also be conservative because I'm a feminist. Modern day feminism is about you and what you make it, and not what someone 60 years ago said.
This bitch is gonna fucking age out her fucking womb too. This fucking, all these broads are gonna fucking have a realization once they hit fucking 45 years old that they should have had kids and fucking find a good man and fucking settle down, but nah. They're too busy out here trying to get fucking attention and power. It's all a power struggle with these fucking people. That's all it is. Fuck out of here.
Said it was. But I don't praise men because they aren't raping. Like, that's...
I agree with everything you just said.
You're agreeing with us.
I agree with you fully.
The same exact thing. Like,
yeah,
that's
but I
actually
disagree
the
with the
movement.
prompt because I do appreciate men. I don't think that feminists don't appreciate men. I think that's not true.
Like, the person who taught me to be the feminist that I am was my father. Yeah. My father did not raise me to believe that I was less than because I was a woman. He raised me to understand that I am societally disadvantaged, but he told me that I was going to rise above that.
My household, my father, my mom.
He said, listen, honey, you're a little woman, and you're gonna have it tough, but you're gonna rise above it. Because we're Jewish, sweetie. We got lots of money. You're a privileged white woman. Don't you ever forget it.
Was so strong that my dad became so emasculated that he cannot do anything. He stopped working. He became just like a couch potato, right? Why?
You know, it's actually crazy because earlier she said something about like she was comparing herself to the other white girl, right? And she's Jewish, and like, you know, I have a really good friend. His name's Ben Stein, coincidentally. I never won his money though, unfortunately. But so one day my friend Ben and I were having a conversation, and I was like, I forget the exact context of the conversation we were having, but I'm like, yeah, like you're white. And he's like, I'm not white. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not white? Right? Like, you're white, your skin's white. And he said, yeah, go and put me in front of a white supremacist. Put me in front of a KKK or a Nazi and ask them if I'm white. And I was like, shit, that's a fucking very good point. And so we actually went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and that's his race is Jewish. That's his race. And myself, I'm not actually white either. I'm not Caucasian. I'm not white. I'm Hellenic Greek. That is a race of people as well. And it was, you know, it's funny to me that she is lumping herself. She has basically abandoned her own racial identity and taken on the one of the guilty white person, the oppressor that has been a part of the problem since birth just because she's white-skinned. Craziness.
She just went out there and killed it. And we are destroying family, as we know, because look at me. I'm in my 30s. I'm not settled down. I don't have children. I don't have this family unit that I want so terribly, because no matter how hard I tried, that feminism that I was raised with always tend to overshadow my relationship, because in my head, I know best, right? Like, I know what's right. I know, because I saw it growing up. I saw it modeled to me growing up. Like, a woman knows everything. We're so powerful.
But the
We're so
idea
strong.
that men are supposed to be the head of the household, do you understand that that is killing men?
That's killing men.
It is killing men.
Well, let them die, because we need to they need to go back to working.
The pressure of it, you mean, right? The pressure?
The pressure of it is destroying their mental health.
Oh my God, a man is supposed to be the head of the household. What are you fucking talking about? If it's destroying his mental health, then he needs to toughen the fuck up. Straight the fuck up. That's what we do. And listen, people go through struggles. You can go through financial struggles. You can go through all kinds of different struggles, relationship struggles, all that kind of stuff. But no matter what, at all times, no matter what, whether you got a dime in your pocket or $1 million fucking dollars cash just sitting on your table, no matter what, you're always the man of the fucking house. Always. There's no, you know, I hate the whole like red pill alpha man shit. But where that came from, that's the original term for it. That's what the alpha male is. It's not this bravado, fucking cocky piece of shit that being portrayed. No, that's not an alpha male. Okay, that's not what makes an alpha male. What makes an alpha male is he's a man of his house, no matter what. He could be a fucking garbage man. And when he comes home, stinking of fucking trash, his wife respects him for doing his fucking job and putting a roof over them, putting food on the table, that she serves that food to him when he gets home. That is as simple as it is. That is what a man is. No matter if he's broke, whatever, he maintains his fucking household. He maintains order in situations. People can look to him for advice. These bitches are fucking crazy.
That's why men are 6 times more likely to commit suicide than women are, especially men in committed relationships.
No, they're fucking likely to commit suicide because you women are driving them fucking nuts.
Men in their 40s that are married with families are the highest risk for suicide.
But it's killing men because we have generations and generations of boys who were not raised to be men and rise to that occasion.
It's killing men because we are not in a position capitalistically where we can have men be the one single head of the household, the bread earner, the decision maker. We are no longer in the 1950s. Our economy is not able to handle that kind of nuclear family with the man being the head of the household, the stay-at-home moms and the 2.5 children.
I want to clarify, I'm not a stay-at-home mom.
No,
I do work,
I understand.
and so I do have perspective. When you are in a long-term marriage or relationship with a partner of anyone, yes, you're going to have disagreements, but you also have to understand that each person in that partnership does have roles, because that is how a healthy family functions.
Only.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for the night here. This has already been a much longer episode than I thought it was gonna be, but thank you for joining me on my very first one. We will continue this. We're right about halfway through in the video, so we'll continue this with another 50-minute, hour-long video on the next one, and share some more of my crazy thoughts about these fucked up women. Thanks again for joining, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that button below, and check me out on the next one. Bye-bye.